and delivered about 7 cases.
Should
That's cool.
We're on
we're
the
live. I guess 6:30. Good evening. I'm the other Jeremy, I guess. I hadn't been here the last few meetings, so you're probably wondering. I'm just a shade darker than the other Jeremy. So. Welcome. This is a BPAP, and I guess we can start with a roll call. We'll work our way around.
Carol Delaney.
Which way are we going?
Yeah.
You can go this way.
Yeah.
AJ Register.
Terry Coddington, ex officio for the city.
Jeremy Waits, I guess chair now.
Adina White.
Stacia Adams.
Who do we have now that you're the chair? Who's going to keep notes?
That's a good question. Can someone keep notes tonight? And
I do not want to do that. Adina, go girl.
Yeah, Adina.
Here, I learned
We nominate you.
You just help yourself, just note away and.
there's a note keeper right there.
Are you the, is he?
Caleb's the
Oh, he's
secretary.
the official secretary. Okay.
Yeah.
No worries.
That was close.
We're like,
We better let it go on
I'm like, okay, Adina, can't be
I need to
mentioned.
bring a notebook next time. Be
I
prepared.
don't know why. I brought it.
That's okay.
We get enough for quorum.
Who popped the popcorn? I smell popcorn. Maybe I'm just hungry. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't smell it. And Lori will be here quickly, I think, within 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay. I guess, I think, did y'all get a copy of the previous June minutes? I think Jeremy sent them out last week. Do y'all have any issues with them? I guess we can put a motion on the floor to approve them.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
Second.
Second motion. All in favor, say.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Oh, yes. I guess previously, the only old business looking at the previous minutes was the League American Bicyclists. So I know Terry has some updates on some of that. I know that's due the end of next month. So
Yeah, we're actively working on that, and so I thought we could spend some time. Did you all get a chance to look at the application, or I meant to print it out and bring everybody a copy. But we can, if you want, we can do maybe updates, and then come back to that. Spend the bulk of the meeting on the.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll skip.
Kind of talking through the application and getting folks' thoughts.
Yeah, we can move to the updates. What's going on?
So on the application, you have to apply for the specific tier that you're shooting for, right?
Right.
So you're not going to get gold unless you apply for it, or silver unless you.
Yeah.
If you apply for gold, you can't, and you won't get silver if you don't reach gold.
Yeah. And that's the one clarification that I don't have yet is if you apply for gold, which I don't think we should. I think we should apply for silver. Is what happens if you don't get it. You know, I think they'll probably work with you on, either they would, in our case, since we're not new, they would just probably renew us as a bronze if we don't get silver. But I'm waiting on clarification. Since I wasn't involved in the last application, they're having to load the application, take the old application. I can't even see how all the questions were answered yet. They're supposed to be loading that into my profile so that I have access to the old application. So right now, all I have is the actual questions. And we've had a meeting with the chamber, who has an intern that's going to help with the bike friendly business part of it. Street department engineer was there who's working on the engineering part of it. And so really what I'm working on is the education piece, and that's a large portion of it. And I just thought we'd kind of scroll through some of that stuff tonight and just bounce questions and get thoughts and stuff. So, probably, I guess we could go ahead and do it now since we're already kind of into it, I guess. If everybody's ready, so.
Yeah, either then, I don't know if you want to wait for more folks to show or.
I don't know, we're not voting on anything.
Yeah.
So let me see here. So we had the scorecard that was attached to the agenda. And then,
Yep.
Is that tonight's agenda?
were those
No.
attachments I sent you
I
attached?
didn't attach
Okay.
that, that's my mistake. Let me try to.
Just do a reply all on the.
So all the like community data and all that stuff is relatively easy to answer. Street department's working on engineering. I'm trying to scroll down to. Pretty lengthy application, sorry.
Okay,
That's
am
why
I
I
the
have-
only one that cannot find it?
Let me.
The application.
Yeah.
It didn't get sent out yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, good, because I'm just going through all these things
Yeah,
going, I
sorry.
missed it,
Yeah,
it's on there.
sorry.
Okay, wait, crap. Okay.
Well, let's see if maybe I can airdrop this thing to everybody. Does anyone have airdrop turned on? I can airdrop it to you since it wasn't in the agenda.
I should.
Or if you want, I'll just read the question and then we can talk about it.
Yep.
I just got to scroll back down here. The one good thing about whenever I was going through the questionnaire is like now that we have the transportation, even though it's micro transportation, like with the vans and stuff, we have that in place, which is going to help. In addition to other bike lanes and stuff that we've added. Trying to. The last application, we had the bike share that's since gone out of business because of the pandemic. So that'll be something that's kind of taken away. We don't have that. I'm talking to a company called B-Cycle about different options. But that won't be in place by the time we apply. It's just trying to get an idea how to get one started back up. Education, youth. So we have, one of the things that we're trying to do is get more bikes in public schools. So we have the Courtway School, Gemstone and Carolyn Lewis have elementary programs where they teach the kids to bike, but we're trying to get more. So if you have any interaction or pull with any other schools in the community, just let me know. There's programs that we can do. But I feel like we'll fare better on that question. And then I just have to explain the types of bike education and curriculum. The other thing too, that I wanted to get your opinion on. So when there's a question, and I didn't want to make an assumption on this, are there any on-bike learning opportunities for students And one of the programs we have in our community is the NICA program with the Conway Bearcats. It's grades 6 through 12. They teach on the bike skills for 3 months, anybody that's enrolled in that. They've got loaner bike programs and also scholarships, so it's open to anybody, regardless of their socioeconomic status or if they have a bicycle or not. I felt like we could answer yes to that question because of that program, and also in addition to the Courtway School and the other ones. So we've got some of it's mandatory and some of it's optional. Some of it is percentages that I'll have to get with the schools on their enrollment. Where's this? I know Peter and some of the other folks with CAB, and AJ, maybe you know the answer to this, but how often did they do like the training with using like the bikes and the trailer? Are you familiar with any of that?
Bikes in the,
There's a trailer with bikes that they had to do like bike safety, they did some bike rodeos and stuff.
yeah,
That's more of a cab thing.
yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. So I think that'll answer some of the questions for outside of school programming. Adult bicycle education is a question. We don't have any, to my knowledge, I'm not aware of any adult bicycle education.
I'm still doing Women Bike Arkansas
Yeah.
Tara did for
Yeah.
years.
The
And that is a good
cab,
term.
one that Peter, the bike league, the certified league instructors
Yeah.
do twice. Well, they try to do it twice a
Was
year.
that just kids or was that adults?
No, I think
Yeah.
I think it's just adult.
Anybody?
I think it's there's probably a minimum age,
Yeah.
but I would say that's mostly adults, at least from the ones I've seen.
All right. I'll get with them on
Yeah,
bike instruction.
Peter would know how often they do those.
Trying to share this with y'all. Forget my.
And then it just goes into a lot of detail about curriculum and stuff, so I have to get with them about that. I think one of our, talks about like how we basically market bike safety. I feel like that's an area of opportunity for us. See a lot. I'm guilty in my position. We should be pushing a lot of that stuff out there, and we just haven't. So through the application process, I've kind of realized like we just need to get into a normal habit of putting out bike safety posts and doing things. So that's kind of a takeaway. It asks questions about motorists being educated in the community. Are you guys familiar with any programming out there?
I know Peter and Mariah were going to start that one program right before we started meeting remotely, and I think it got nixed.
Yeah.
That would have been
Nothing.
No, I haven't heard anything.
Is there a way to get the information out to the Department of Finance? When people are getting their tags or new drivers coming out or something, if we can kind of partner and get that to them at the beginning, or something like that.
I think there's some discussion. Yeah, we discussed before driver's ed in schools, adding something. And then the other one, the main thing for it was through UCA, I think somehow, or something associated with UCA.
Mariah was talking. Yeah.
And that was, I think you could do that in place of, it could be provide it as an option to paying fines, like if you got a traffic ticket or something.
Okay,
That was at least the last thing I remember.
okay.
All right. So I'm just making myself a note to get with Mariah on that.
She still talks to us.
Let's see. The education piece is pretty big. It goes into the demographics of the instructors and all that. I won't bore you with that stuff. Sounds like the instructors were Peter.
Peter
So,
and
Peter,
Jim Bruce,
Jim
I think are
Bruce.
the only two that we've
Yeah.
got.
Certified, yeah.
Mhm.
That's something that we'll probably want to work on, is having, just because representation matters, trying to get some other folks certified.
I was supposed to go to the course this year and it got delayed. You know, they were looking at sending people when it was in Memphis.
Yeah. And then it talks about where we're really strong was whenever it asks us about other groups actively promoting bicycle in the community, and like our chamber, downtown Conway, tourism, CAB, EPAB, that's like all yes for that. And then we kind of get into route finding support, which is one of the programs where Jeremy was talking about the other.
Yeah.
Trying to think. So, where Jeremy Chrysler was talking about those blazes that we would put on the streets, and then creating routes that we could do relatively quickly. I can get with him to see how quickly, I think, as far as route finding support, if we created the routes in Google Maps, we could do that pretty quickly, like within this 30-day time period.
I think he had done a lot of it.
Yeah, he's done a lot of the work. It's just a matter of creating the routes. And then also with the soft surface trails, I put them in apps like MTB Project and Trailforks. But I think with like Google Maps, just getting it to show up, if you identify that you're riding a bicycle, it'll take you via those routes that we identify. So some of that is I was trying to vet some of those routes out. Have you done any of that? Like a lot of it I'm familiar with, but
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is our trails and
the normal stuff.
Yeah.
But there was some of it that I wasn't familiar with, and I wanted to ride before I put it in Google. So I think maybe we can just put the stuff we're super comfortable with.
Oh, these are the ones that Jeremy
Yeah.
outlined.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I would assume I haven't written all of
Yeah.
it, but a lot of them were, like neighborhood, lower traffic
Yeah.
street stuff.
So let's see. We should have the Hairston project, which is kind of an update I was going to give. One of the reasons Jeremy Chrysler's not the chair anymore is because he developed a lane block, and it became something that the city's interested in implementing, and they can't do business with somebody while they're a chair on the city board. So Jeremy stepped down, and then hopefully we can move the lane block forward as a cost-effective option for SAFE. And so one of the things, I don't have a timeline yet on implementation of that. We're kind of reworking since he stepped down, then the bid has to be officially submitted, and then they have to be ordered. But one of the asks that we'll have of the board is that, like, friends and family, yourself, everyone goes out and tries to use this section of road and give us feedback to see if it's something that is feasible to kind of implement across the rest of the city. So has everyone seen the lane blocks? Okay. I should have brought one. They're as far as how they sit, they take up about this space, but they're taller, kind of with two humps. And they're really annoying to drive your car over. They make a relatively large bump. So it's going to deter cars from being in the bike lane, but the street sweepers can still clear them. So you don't have to buy specific street sweepers like we would have to do for Donaghy, which would be about $90,000 a piece for one street sweeper just to clean a bike lane. So for the cost of $90,000, we could put these lane delineators around close to half, just the rough math, we could put them around like half a Conway for the cost of one street sweeper. So that's kind of what prompted that, but we have to test it and see if people are actually going to feel safer in the bike lane. Because if you don't feel safer, then it's kind of a waste of money. So that'll be the next project that's also in
The picture of it.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a date, or we're waiting for an official bid?
well, he has to resubmit the invoice now that he's officially
I saw it.
off of the board. He has to resubmit the quote to the city and go through that process. So I don't think it'll make it by the 30 days.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh,
But to be on this, but I feel like it's close enough that we'll probably be able to, as long as it's ordered and in the process of happening, I feel like we can put this on the application.
it'd be really nice to get some data on that. Like the first thing I'm thinking of is cars parking. Like it's going to be great to delineate, but if it prevents people from parking in bike lanes, that would be a big improvement in my opinion. So if we could collect some data like beforehand and say, on this street for this month or something, there were this many cars parked here versus after installation, there was this many cars parked over here. See if it noticed an improvement.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I don't know what other data points right off the top of my head.
We'll have to look. I mean, it's definitely something we could put, because I think the feedback questionnaire on that's going to be something simple like a Google form that we can send out through like city social media to get users to submit, or email out to EPAB board, cab members, folks that we know that are cycling in the community that we can get them to help us with the survey. So
Something that's objective would be really nice though. So that's all subject. Like, yes, I feel safer, which is an improvement. But then also if we could find some that were near a school camera or something, and we could compile a video from that month before.
yeah,
I'm just trying to think of things that are already existing. I mean, it'd be nice to be able to shove a camera out somewhere and keep track, but we could find, I don't know what, they're putting it on Harrison?
Harrison, yeah. Both directions.
Isn't the
The
Public
school administration buildings there, so I was making a note to check to see
It's got the cameras pointed.
if the cameras capture anything out on the street.
I don't know if I ever see many cars parked along Harrison, but yeah.
I ride it almost daily, and I honestly don't recall, maybe whenever Wednesday nights, whenever the church is in session or something up there is maybe the only time.
Yeah.
The one thing we're not good at in Conway is commuting. That kind of speaks to like bike-friendly businesses and stuff that the chamber is going to work on. Like we just trying to, every time we do, whether it's People for Bikes or League of American Cyclists, and we do these surveys, like we have a really strong recreational cycling population. We don't have a strong commuting population. So hopefully with Metro Plan and the RAISE grant and all that, but all that stuff is, kind of years away, but it's going to have a transformational impact. But I don't know how to impact that short term to help with that. So other than start with educating businesses, and then maybe they'll provide incentives. But I don't know of anything. Are you guys familiar with any companies in town that are doing anything like that we could contact and try to help in that area?
We would occasionally have, during Bike Week, you would have some competitions among some businesses, but seems like it, it's there for Bike Week and then it's gone.
And then it fizzles out.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It may be off subject, but in terms of being business friendly for bikers, who does the city provide bike stands and locks, or are those the individual businesses that have to
Individual,
provide those?
yeah, those are up to the individual businesses.
'Cause there aren't really a lot of places to lock
Yeah.
your bike up outside businesses, then that could
Yeah.
also be a deterrent, but
Yeah. And
that's up to business, it's
and that's one thing too, to try and get whenever you go into other communities, and like you can take a parking spot, put a bike rack in it, and you can park 10 bikes versus one car. And I've had some conversations with local businesses, and they're again, like they don't want to lose that one parking spot, which kind of seems counterproductive. But at the same time, what they potentially see is they put that out there, and then it just sits there empty, and there's no bikes in it. So it's kind of like one of those getting. How do you? I think more. We have to work with the chamber maybe to get more bike-friendly businesses and get them to think of things with a long-term strategy. That once that stuff is more readily available, then more people will start riding,
I mean, I think we could, a couple of things there. I mean, first of all, incentives. We could offer some incentives, and I don't know what kind of incentives the city could offer for that kind of stuff. But then, second of all, I think we tend to think of these things in very concrete, literal, concrete, suggestions. But I think if we start looking at it more as like temporary, providing this as an option, say like let's give it a 1 month, 2 month trial run, something like that, a business would be much more likely to say, okay, let's test it first, because nobody wants to commit to something if in their mind it's going to detract from business. But you can show them, through these 2 months we actually saw more people come in, or which there's scientific studies out there that show this, but it may not.
Yeah.
What about some of the other cities like around that are bike friendly? Do we have? Can we let's say borrow, but kind of utilize some of their resources to understand how they implemented that cause in their businesses, whether it be downtown or however the case may be?
Yeah.
Like Bentonville, Rogers, and Fayetteville. I'm sure they got some, certainly more bike friendly businesses, and I know even the firm we work at, we're a bike friendly business, and they provide showers for the employees to ride it up the trails and whatnot. So I mean, I guess maybe we can kind of like mirror other cities and see what worked for them.
One of those ideas that I stole was, I think it was Rogers does a bike friendly business boot camp where they invite businesses in, and I wanted to try and implement it here where they invite businesses in, they just buy them coffee and breakfast and explain what it even is, because a lot of them don't know. I pitched it to the chamber. They're interested in, and it's not set in stone, but they might even, the application fee for a bike-friendly business is only $50. They may even pay for the business's bike-friendly fee. It's not set in stone, but it's something they're considering to try and help get more folks going with some of the things that are happening. We've got, like I rode to the new brewery over there, Rogue Roundabout or whatever, and there's no bike racks, no nothing. So we had like 15 bikes. It was a whole group, so we couldn't even lock our bikes up or anything. So anyhow, that's something that's going to take a while to turn, but I think just kind of using the drip method, you almost just have to keep having meetings, like maybe quarterly meetings. So,
Has the city ever done a survey and asked for people's feedback on, why, or would you consider commuting? Why don't you commute if you don't already? That kind of stuff. Do we have any kind of like feedback from?
I don't have a solid answer to that. Not in my tenure, they've not, and I've not been shared any data with that. The only data I have about commuting is basically between People for Bikes and League of American Bicyclists. Whenever you do these applications, they do their own survey where they poll the general population, and they use those results.
You know the big survey that the city issued last year at the end of the year? Did they do that every year?
Yeah, so I think I remember the one you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if I took it. I think I did, but I kept seeing it online. But if we could like get some questions from us in that for next year, that could be cool.
I have seen other communities, whether like it could come from BPAB or CAB or myself, and send it out. I don't know how I would obtain all the email addresses. People would have to register for it to get the survey, or we post it on social media or something. But it basically just survey questions about using the trail and different things.
If we could latch on to one that's already being done, that would be easier.
Somehow it came to my email box, and it was for another community. So I don't know if the business sold my email to somebody or something, but it's for a different community. That's how I got the idea of it.
I mean, I feel like I know why I don't commute to places on my bike, but
Yeah.
I don't want to. I feel like it's probably pretty universal, but I think some kind of actual data that would point us in the right direction. So say, for example, we see a lot of people who work at one employer who all live within, a certain distance, say that they're interested, but they don't do it for this reason. We could actually address, well, I don't think it makes sense to try to just, do like a shotgun approach. I think if we can kind of build it up. So for example, like a bunch of students live around UCA, they're interested in riding bikes to school, but they don't because whatever reason. So if we could find, a solution to solve a big portion of whatever issues some demographics would be facing, I think that would be a good start and a little bit more focused than just trying to come up with things that we think are going to work or, hopefully are going to work.
So, random question: who here commutes, whether it's on foot or by bike at all?
Like to work or just in general?
Yeah, anywhere, to the store.
Like I'll bike to the store. Yeah, I use the trail, the Gatling Park, Tucker Creek Trail, or I'll bike downtown to pay my utility bill or something.
I don't even have a bike, so I'm more of a pedestrian type person here. I want one day though. But when I'm downtown, sometimes I try to be conscious to walk places. Like I walk to vote from the Arnold Innovation Center, and then I think I read somewhere, I don't know, it was like the more we see people doing something, the more we do it ourselves. So like just like if we see more people biking and see more people walking, I think that'll help us be like, oh, I can walk there. But like even working at the chamber, I mean, even when I worked there was times I didn't walk to the post office and stuff. I mean, at the Arnold Innovation Center, it seems a little more. I walk to the post office all the time there because it's very short. It's like I can see it, but I think when we have Oak Street and the railroad, you kind of don't think that way. But I think the more you see people doing it, though, I think you kind of like, oh, okay, it's not that far. Especially in Tulsa, like we walk everywhere. The streets are closed, and you forget that how close things are. I think it just takes some, I don't know, trial and error, like seeing other people do it, kind of like.
There's a part in here, I need to find it, where it just talks about like social events and stuff. I can't find the exact question at the moment. It's such small print on my phone.
Is
I
that
don't know.
is that a PDF or
This is a PDF.
usually you can search for stuff on there?
I gotta scroll all the way back to the top though, in order to hit the search.
Can you look at long press or something?
Let's see.
Well, I did
Yeah.
I did a
right.
Google,
Yeah,
like,
search
to
it
see
right
what
now.
states give incentives if people ride their bikes or whatever. There's like a tax credit. They can get a voucher to purchase a
Yeah.
helmet or get some money off on another bike. So I was just Googling just a little bit of it. But this one was more so like e-bikes. But I was trying to find if there are some other incentives that other states.
I think people, when they see incentive, it makes them apt to do something. You know,
Right.
our bike businesses here have incentives for people coming in, a referral.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you go to a dealership and buy a vehicle and they tell you to refer people for X amount of dollars off your next payment or whatever the case may be. Maybe, like you said, the boot camp can be a kind of intertwine of implementing some of that stuff to.
And I think employers are afraid it's gonna cost them money whenever it's actually gonna save them money in the long term.
Sure.
Just getting them to understand that.
So back when we were first applying for this, for the bike-friendly city, the city actually passed a resolution that included a mention of incentives for city employees for commuting by bike. I think it was, might be wrong, but I want to say it was like reduced health insurance or something, potentially. So among other things, there may have been some other things mentioned, but that was some digging. So
Yeah.
might be worth going back.
I
to
had
that
thought
and see.
that Conway Regional did something like that too. One of the meetings I had with them about trying to get more people commuting.
As far as a wellness incentive.
Yeah, just for their health and wellness.
Yeah, they do give a discount to their employees if they work out like 12 times a month, then they will, it basically pays for their membership. They get it for free. So I know they probably give some other incentives.
It's Conway Regional.
If they're health employees.
So I'll be able to use that. I need to check on the city thing, but I need to find out more about some of those programs because that can be spoken to on the application.
They've got that program they're doing, Walk with the Doc, you know, where they're walking things. I wonder if it'd be neat if they could get something going, because a lot of those guys ride bikes.
We'd have to find a different profession that rhymes with bike, though.
Huh?
We have to find a new profession that rhymes with bike.
Yeah, we'd be in trouble.
I know NAPCOats has a really robust wellness program. And I don't know if their employees are likely to bike because of deconstruction, but I know they have a really big wellness program at NAPCOats. It's gotten like attention from HBO or something.
Jamie Mayo.
Yeah.
And she's a cyclist.
Okay.
Well, I know.
She's still there? She's probably,
Did she move or she made it back? She's working remote or something? I don't know.
yeah, I'll leave her. Sure, hopefully it's still going on if she's not there.
Oh, I can't imagine that it wouldn't be.
Yeah,
Surely it is.
cute, yeah.
Connectivity analysis. I need to figure out, has our community conducted any kind of connectivity analysis for the bicycle network? I feel like we can say yes to that because of all the work between Metro Plan and the RAISE grant, that connecting east to west Conway, all the research that's gone into that. And then it starts asking questions about network density. We're connecting pretty much all the schools and a lot of the parks and stuff. So the access to destinations is going to be a plus.
What about a partnership with the police department? I know in some states, downtown, you see police officers on bikes. Maybe I was watching it on TV or something. I don't know. Who knows?
We used to have.
Yeah, we do
We used to
have.
have patrol officers on bikes, but I haven't seen them in.
Haven't seen them in a while, but I used to see them on the bike path, 'cause we live on the bike path, so.
Right.
I'd
Sound
see 'em
vaguely
go by.
familiar, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you mention that?
Today would have been a good 119.
Yeah.
A bit toasty.
Hard to get anybody.
Oh, yes.
Some of the stuff like getting the ridership data is going to be tough to collect, I think. Any suggestions?
I know Little Rock just asks for volunteers and I think they literally sit out there for an hour and count the number of people that go by
Really?
for an hour.
Hmm.
There are devices that will count them, but
I researched them, yeah, they're,
expensive.
yeah, thousands of dollars.
So sitting like on the trail or
Yeah,
something?
just sitting there with a tick sheet.
Yeah.
We can do
Although
that. We can all
I could
get
do
an
that for my
hour.
backs, for my
Okay.
Lemonade.
Yes.
So let's just say, how long would we have to do that? How long will we have to find volunteers to do that for it to be statistically accurate?
does it list anything in what are the requirements for their
Well,
section?
it asks for utilitarian ridership data,
Mhm.
trips for commuting, so we'd have to put somebody kind of in a near a consumer area where they can see some businesses and see if people are riding in there.
Mhm.
Recreational will be easy, you just put somebody on Tucker Creek. And then whenever they do the tick sheet, then they have to try to collect demographic data. If you can get them to stop, like their age, race, gender, is what it's asking for. So
So I wonder if you could get any kind of information from Eric and Tara, from people who have been in there purchasing bikes, people with a Conway address or a Faulkner County address. And, I was thinking, I met a guy at the Conway Fall Classic. None of us had ever heard of him. He was riding in that, and he rides all over Conway, just nobody knew him. So I wonder if we can get the list of names from those kind of events.
I can talk to Eric to see if there's a way I can get information that would allow us to send an email maybe and collect something as like part of a survey maybe that would check two boxes. But if we did the volunteers on Tucker Creek Trail, how long is statistically accurate? You'd probably want to do a Saturday, a Monday, maybe a Wednesday,
I guess so.
3 days, and then that would give you a good average.
This is called ridership evaluation. Is that what I saw there?
Yeah,
Or evaluating ridership?
yeah. E14.
Yeah. This has
That's the stuff that's tough. So
regular manual counts of bicyclists on trails, on
So-
the road, transit stations, schools. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff in there.
yeah,
The other thing we could do is just set up, you could set up cameras, which are a lot cheaper than those counters, and just have people later just collect them and have people volunteer to
yeah.
count.
But you wouldn't be able to get the statistics on, you wouldn't be able to ask the people what demographic they're in and all
That's
that.
true. Yeah. So you'd probably need actual people to go volunteer to collect that. But as far as just ridership numbers, you could collect a lot more.
Yeah. I was gonna say I could get
seriously-
Strava data, but that isn't even gonna give me.
I could
anything.
put my backyard camera, I could change the parameters of that and get it from that. How many people are and who's riding by.
Just snap a picture of every time, just movement.
Probably, it's
Like a
probably gonna
gang-
be
is it
crazy.
like a gang camera?
No, it's like my Conway Corp security.
Oh, gotcha.
Household travel surveys.
Can we
You have to send those
advertise
out.
like on Facebook, how they do the sponsors and just focus on Faulkner County And then all of us share it on our Facebook page or social media and just ask, the people if they are cyclists to fill this out because we're trying to collect information and, just to be able to kind of reach out something that's low cost or free to, encourage them to help us to get all of this information. Because if you're out riding your bike, it's kind of hard. No one really wants to stop unless they know you.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm happy to do that, but I can't see myself going, hey, guys, people, stop.
Okay,
Crazy.
no. And they probably
Isn't it
don't hear you anyway, or.
Yeah, I've got a big banner what I'm doing or something.
But I like what you said about contacting the ride
Mhm.
and ask them.
I also wonder about some other cities that have received this designation. How did they do it?
Right.
Can we reach
I
out to
talked
them?
to Fayetteville because they're gold and they paid the thousands of dollars for the counters
Oh,
and
to
stuff.
get the information.
Yeah. They put them everywhere.
They still have them?
Do they let them to poor cities?
And it's actually like whenever one of the places on access to the Greenway, it's digital, and every time you go by it, the number changes, and so like you'll go by and it'll tell you that you're the 3,000th person. But that's it's almost it's a kiosk, and it's probably I think I researched it, and it's $7,500 for that kiosk.
Mm.
Do those differentiate between cyclists and pedestrians, or just every time you walk through? Or
No, it picks up on cyclists and pedestrians.
so it knows
So
which one you
It
are.
knows which one you are somehow. So,
I feel like collecting demographic data though for cyclists would be tough, like on Tucker Creek, because being expected to like stop cyclists, be like, hey, how old are you? And like expect them to actually stop and talk
Yeah.
to you.
If you give them a reason to stop, they'll stop.
yeah,
That's true.
Free cookies, I'm stopping.
There's a big stick that you can
yeah.
stick
It's
in the
very,
spokes.
Positive encouragement is probably
the toughest part of this application is this whole data part, like the whole
Yeah.
data collection is, so. Yeah. Well, I think what I'll do is email that out to everybody so you can look at it, and then,
Jeremy said, you got it.
and,
You got it.
okay.
Did y'all get it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
You just did it. I mean, we're gonna close.
Are you guys okay, like, if I just, like, send follow-up questions to the board over the next, because this is an active, like, we're 6 weeks out from being final. So just maybe just pinging for information and ideas. So yeah, like I said, I'll keep working with the engineering, city on engineering and all that. So I think if you want just to know what time is it, I want to use it.
7:18.
Yeah. So if you want to go into like the other business and then
Yeah. So I think you had a few updates from some of the city projects.
yeah, so the
Middle Tech Park, Pumpy Park
Yeah.
Trail.
So the Pompey Park Trail, where the Veterans Park interacted with the bike trail. So that's obviously back open. They did the opening, grand opening. There's 2 bridges that looks like it's going to be November timeframe. So the actual mountain bike trail that was impacted by the construction won't be able to be rebuilt until after those bridges are put in place. I've already got an idea how they'll be rerouted, but it's kind of senseless to start anything until the bridges are in place because they're just going to tear up whatever we build. The Meadows Tech Park, where it's Gainwell Technologies, everybody familiar with that out there, formerly HP. There's the 3-mile trail. We're going to announce a grand opening for that, but the signs keep getting stolen. So we have a problem with ATVs and motorcycles, and so the chamber graciously paid to put up some signs, and about $600 worth of signs were stolen that said private property, no ATVs, and those signs were stolen. So we're replacing those signs, put up cameras. In the meantime, And the next step is getting a map made of the trail and figuring out if like game will let us put it in the parking lot or where they'll let us put it. But there's also where the trail crosses over the road, you have to go up over a curb, and the city's got some rubber curb ramps that are going to be installed to help riders get up over the curb so they don't pinch flat or anything like that. But it's a 3-mile trail. It's pretty popular, and it's actually based on the cameras. A lot of walkers are using it. A lot more than we thought. It would just be a lot of cyclists. And then the cool part is seeing folks from Craft and Tull and Gamewell Technologies come to work now with bikes on the back of their car and go for rides out there. So the Ferris roundabout is under construction, moving along pretty quickly. We talked about the lane blocks on Hairston. I don't have a timeline for that, but we're basically starting the quote and bidding process now that Jeremy's off of the board. And then probably one of the big things that's in planning right now is Biketoberfest, partnering with the Chamber for Biketoberfest. There's stuff going on that whole entire month that we'll be promoting, and I haven't talked to him yet, but using that Meadows Tech Park, I was thinking of doing like a town series event, like every Tuesday or Wednesday night, just have almost like free to the public, just come out and compete and have fun, have a DJ or something like that. So I'm trying to figure out how to pull that off and just more or less get more folks out there. And one of the cool things about it is the Metro Plan will connect. If you saw the Metro Plan announcement, and thanks Lori for doing the interview with the news, that phase of the Metro Plan will actually run off of Stone Dam Creek and go through the meadows and connect and go out towards Lake Conway. So like building that trail is just getting connected. It's all going to work together. So like right now I can ride Tucker Creek and cut over and go through UCA, Stone Dam Creek, and I only ride for about a mile on an actual street and interact with. So eventually you'll be able to ride all the way from out there, all the way uptown, through all the trails around Tucker Creek. Chadron won't be connected, but eventually, maybe, you never know. So Biketoberfest is in planning. That'll be big. I kind of had a note on the agenda for Jeremy to kind of my bike-friendly business boot camp type thing. If somebody wants to be on a kind of committee to help with that, happy to take volunteers. But it's something that I want to like partner with the chamber and make happen. Don't everybody volunteer at once.
How many do you know how many people?
I don't think, because the chamber is going to have a couple people on it, and then including myself, and then if we could just have like 2 people, I think, just to.
And what's the goal? You're just trying to
Just to come up with like the curriculum on what we're gonna
present.
Yeah, and how we're gonna present it to bike friendly. Whenever how we're gonna do it, if we're gonna do it.
I'm sorry.
If we're going to go into the actual business and do a presentation there, one at a time, or if we invite a bunch of businesses to like the AIC and have them come in for coffee and whatever and scones and give them a bike-friendly presentation.
So is this supposed to happen before we do the application?
No.
Okay.
No, this is, the bike-friendly business deadline's already passed. That was in beginning of June, yeah. So
Yeah, I'd be on that
okay.
committee.
And that's about all I have. Kind of actively looking for like a piece of land that the city owns. I've not come up, but I want to try to build One of the big things that like kids and also adults are asking for is like a progression of a skills park area, where we have the little dirt pump track in Gatling Park, and then the other Pompey Park and some other things, but they want stuff in one place that's a progression of skills. So I'm trying to get a price together and an idea and a plan, but I'm actively looking for kind of some useless piece of property somewhere that I can build something like that that's connected to the city, which means it's probably not
Easily
useless.
accessed.
So
Yeah.
High visibility.
yeah, that's the tough part. So anything that's kind of connected or close to a trail or something's got some money value tied to it.
What are they, isn't Conway Court building something out off of,
Or
German?
South Sherman, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's kind of right at the end of that.
yeah, at the end of
Correct.
Stone Dam Creek, there's some area there, but the city's not sure yet what they're going to do with that. If they're going to hold on to all that, or I don't know.
You're pretty sure, right?
So there's a nice piece of land there, but I don't know what the future holds for it. I'm not being given the go ahead to do anything there.
Well, how much land are we talking about? Like what
It's just-
size stuff?
Yeah, probably just it depends on if we need a parking lot or if there's one nearby. But I mean, an acre. It's really all we need is an acre. 2 acres would be nice. If you see anything like that, doesn't have to be perfectly flat, but kind of relatively flat. And then I'm trying to think of any other updates. We talked about Metro Plan.
Raise your hand.
Yeah,
That's all I had.
yeah.
I guess there's a vacancy as vice chair, so maybe
Yeah,
think about that for the next couple months.
Well, we tried to get you. I know.
I have a fish in the water.
Anyone have anything else? I guess you want to make a motion to adjourn?
No, second it.
I think that was a motion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Hi.
See you next month.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not sure, Johnny will know who owns it, but I don't know who owns it, but it's not the city. He owns on that side.
You're Carol, right?
Yes,
Okay.
you AJ.
Yes.
Yeah, we finally meet.
Might be actually no-
Yeah,